r/AskReddit by Reddify. What is an adult equivalent of Santa isn't real? For my generation, that would be retirement. We just Google your computer problem. IT department. $1,000 is a lot of money to owe, and not a lot of money to have. Being promised to get laid all day. Then she's too tired and goes to sleep when the time comes. Romance isn't magical. People aren't just happy together. It takes work, time, effort, compassion, loyalty, and dedication to make a marriage work. You see all these people that seem so happy together. But there are no perfect marriages. The people who make it seem effortless are either A, putting up a front, or B, trying really hard because it's worth it to them. Between social media, television, bad advice from friends, impossible standards set forth by the media, marriages are difficult to hold together these days because most people are conditioned to believe that not only can they do better, but if they aren't actively trying to do better, they are low expectations having losers. Red velvet isn't its own flavor. It is just chocolate with red dye added. When I was a kid, I thought it was super easy to get a house. I knew you had to buy a house, but I had no idea what that cost. How much could a house possibly be? All my friends lived in decent houses as well. Even the ones who didn't always have nice stuff otherwise. Now I'm in my 30s. Married. Have 2 kids. Both my husband and I work decent jobs making decent money and saving as hard as we can. But houses in our area are selling for over $250,000 above the already inflated asking price. At this rate we'll be lucky to be able to afford our own house before the kids graduate. Edit, because everyone seems to think I'm complaining about a $250K house. No. I'm complaining about a $600K house that is selling for $850K. And it's a shack. Your company doesn't like you. They don't care. You should have zero loyalty for your company because they have zero interest in protecting you. Any benefits and cool hit they have for you is not out of love. It is a calculated decision to improve employee morale, to improve productivity. The second that calculation says you should fire some staff, they will do so and not feel a moment of heartbreak. This isn't a bad thing. It just is. When your annual raise comes around, if it's not what you wanted, look around because now you are 1 year more experienced and another company may be looking to hire you for a sizable promotion. Edit, by company I mean a large corporation. That when you're an adult, you feel exactly the same as you did when you were 17. You're just not as attractive and things ache more. All positive traits are correlated. Statistically, people who are any of rich, intelligent, sociable, creative, good looking, healthy or happy are more likely to be everything else on the list. And people who are unfortunate in one area of their lives are likely to be unfortunate in other areas too. It will get easier when he can hold his own bottle. It will get easier when he can move around on his own. It will get easier when he can communicate by something other than crying. In a way, all of the above statements are true. But they are also very false. My oldest is only a bit over 2 years old. But while parenting has, mostly, gotten more fun, it hasn't gotten easier. The challenges are just different now. Adults really don't know what the duck they are doing either. They are just better at projecting confidence while heading into the unknown. God. Edit. Thank you for gold, kind stranger. This is probably the most simplistic post I've ever seen get gilded. You broke my golden cherry too. It always seems like people older/more skilled than you have some kind of deep core understanding of things that allows them to make smart decisions. But 99% of the time they just have more experience than you. The situations you see them so skillfully handle are simply situations they've encountered 100 times before. Your best friends forever are really just there to casually comment on your Facebook statuses. Not provide any sort of physical or emotional support during times of crisis in your adult life. So you're telling me it's never gonna trickle down? Timbits aren't made from the centers of donuts. Remember all that nice health insurance you had as a kid? Vision and dental included? Well, adult health insurance is basically a roulette wheel of coverage. My state's Medicaid program drops vision and dental when you hit their adult age cutoff. They also refuse to cover certain medications that are seen as for children, like Adderall, and will only re-evaluate your denial after you try 1 or 2 different medications for a certain period of time. Doesn't matter how long you've been taking the Adderall, or how much it helped. Doesn't matter if the other medication has much more severe side effects that prevent you from taking it for the period required. TL, doctor, when you're an adult nobody gives a hit about your health. We've all been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires, and movie gods, and rock stars. But we won't. I will totally do all of these things I promised after I get elected. Your credit card has been declined. A girl watching The Notebook and expecting to find love is like me watching Spider-Man and attempting to make a spider bite me so I get superpowers. Sitting in a room with a nice open wood fire is horrendously bad for your health. The scientific evidence for this is overwhelming, but I find even educated people often refuse to accept it. Looks do matter. You're not going to get Social Security. When you tell your parents how tax brackets work, for some reason they think if you make it to the next tax bracket all your money is taxed at that rate. The discussion that ensues, and then showing them proof and watching their face change to the realization that they have been wrong their whole life and that their offspring just proved them wrong. That has to hit the same nerve as finding out Santa is not real. You can't stop Facebook from using your photos by posting that blurb on your wall. Net salary and gross salary are not the same thing. Go ahead and borrow whatever you need to buy that boat, it's a great investment. The strippers don't actually find you interesting. Santa was real all the time. Jesus didn't die for your sins. He just died. God isn't real. Your life holds no meaning. I once worked at a grocery store deli. People seem to think all the potato and cold salads are handmade by us minimum wage deli slicer kids. In reality most of those salads are pre-packed, and we do very little besides putting it in a bowl for display to customers. One day a woman asked for potato salad, but the bowl sitting in the counter was empty. So I pulled and opened one of the pre-packaged 4-pound bulk tubs we sold in a cooler next to the deli. I scooped her order directly from the 4-pound pre-packaged container and she looked mortified. She said she thought we made it in store and said she didn't want it anymore. I was going to tell her about the rotisserie chickens, but I figured she was traumatized enough for one day. Most work environments are just like high school. $45k isn't that much money to make in a year, especially in a city. Conservative liberals aren't trying to be evil. They just have a different opinion on how to achieve the good. Be as smart as you want. There will still be an idiot with more charisma in charge. Your tax refund isn't a bonus. It was always your money. You just loaned it to the government for free. Because you didn't adjust your withholding properly. God is the obvious one, Islamic or Christian. Children who believe in Santa and adults who believe in God both believe there is an invisible, wise, older being always watching their actions and rewarding good behavior while punishing bad behavior. They both have traditions, stories, and songs based on this belief. And just like every household may have a slightly different tradition around Santa, based on how they grew up, every family/church has a slightly different interpretation of the scriptures and God. And people's belief in Santa, just like their belief in God, primarily come from being taught that as a child and they will then teach it to their children when they are older. Continuing the cycle. Differences in beliefs between groups are mostly region dependent because people talk about their Santa traditions and adopt what they like from others. Same with a belief in God, although less overt and in more of a roundabout way by going through the church. Actually, come to think of it, Santa is more believable than God because beliefs in Santa are much more consistent around the world than beliefs in God. And kids see tangible evidence of Santa's presence by the cookies and milk being consumed. So then, is Santa a more believable toned down version of God meant for children? Then they can upgrade to the bigger belief with less evidence when they are older? I don't mean literally. Just if you reverse the question, Santa would be the answer. And just like telling a little kid there is no Santa, telling an adult there is no God could get you yelled at or punched. Contrary to what millions of Americans seem to believe, Trump is a ducking liar asshole criminal. Our government politicians are not working in your interest or the interest of the people. You can count on one hand the number of people who genuinely care about your birthday / wedding / engagement / baby / graduation. Realizing that other adults often don't know what they're doing either. Just like you. There is no magical age where people become mature or stop being ignorant. You cannot in fact accomplish anything you want with just hard work and perseverance. Edit. Can't help but think I'd be meeting less resistance on this if I'd quoted Pickett about doing everything right but still failing. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not weakness, that is life. Pickett. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.